Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will learn on how we can actually prepare a simple dashboard in Power BI, and we will also learn a simple DAX measure using calculate. So in this given data is a very simple data set because it has 4 different columns, which is we have date column, we have region column, we have products, and we also have the RM, the values. So what I want to do is I actually want to create a dashboard that should have a slicer and also shows a calculate feature in DAX measure, whereby I want to find like a subtotal by the products. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this 𝗦𝗹𝗶𝘰 here and I click on import data from Excel. So once I click it over here, you will notice that a box will appear. So you need to know where you save your file. So apparently I save under desktop, and under desktop 5th June, and I go to file 1. So I'll just go to file 1 and I press open. So when I press open, you will notice that another box will appear. So in this case, this box will ask us which worksheet we want to choose. So it depends whether you want to choose like part sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 and so on. But apparently what happened is in this particular worksheet, we only have one worksheet. This file we have only one worksheet. So and since our data is clean, we don't have to click transform data. Meaning when if just say you want to add column, you want to remove column, or you want to go to Power Query Editor, you click transform data. But since the data is clean, you can just press load. So the moment you press load, eventually you'll notice that it will be navigated to, it will be loaded, the data will be loaded and navigated to the Power BI desktop. So over here, all the information, the worksheet, the columns, all will be tabulated over here. So under your data, you will have this worksheet over here, worksheet part 1, and here we have like the date. Okay, under date there's a branch out like date hierarchy, and then we have products, region, RM. So let me just do a simple visual first. So first thing is I want to have a chart that shows the performance by monthly basis. So what I'll do is I'll click a clustered column chart, and then I'll choose the month and I'll choose the RM. So in this case, what happened is it will actually show us the monthly performance. So I'll just put it down and I will expand this so that my manager can see. Okay, so this is the performance. We have like a, rough assembly, something like a volatile performance. And over here, what I want to do is I want to actually show the data label. So I will click on format your visual, turn on the data label, and if you want to put the data label inside the bar, you can expand the data label, and over here we have a option position. So what I'll do is I'll put here as inside center. So inside center, and maybe I want to increase the size. So instead of 9, maybe I put here like 11. Okay, so it looks bigger. And if just say you want to change coloring, so if you want to change the coloring, you can go to the columns, and over here we can actually change the coloring, whether you want dark blue or whether you want a different color like purple. It's up to you. Or if just say you want to do a coloring based on a gradient, meaning to say I can click this FX over here or this conditional formatting, and I want it to be based on a coloring basis like a gradient. So gradient based on the sum, and then maybe I put a dark blue, whereby that indicates that we have like the higher sales, and then normal blue color, which indicates that is the lower sales and so on. So this is a lower value, this is a higher value. So when I press OK, so apparently it will show like this. And if just say you want to remove this legend over here, you just turn it like this. Okay, and now if just say I want to put the title, because instead of sum of RM by month, I can go to the general. So under general we have title, so I'll just put it over here, total sales from January to December FY 2025. And if they say I want to increase the size, so I'll just put size 18, and I want to put as middle align. So now we do have this information over here. So here we do have like the monthly sales, we have the title and so on. So now what I want to do next is I want to actually create a slicer. So I'll just click the slicer over here, and then under the slicer I'll just click the region. So this region over here, and then I change to slicer settings, and I'll go to tile. And once I go to tile over here, of course we do have this data over here, so I'll just put it over here. And if just say you want to actually change the coloring, increase the size, so you go to value, Over here, you can increase the size like 12 and so on, or you want to increase to 14, up to you. And then what I'll do is, I want to change the coloring. I put white color font, and you can actually go to the background and you can just change the coloring. So I'll just change to dark blue. So now we have the details. So when I click just say for Johor, it shows me the title, okay, that this is the performance of Johor. If just say I click here Kedah, it will show me the performance of Kedah. When I click here Perlis, it shows me the performance of Perlis. And then this is for overall. Now what I want to do is, I want to actually create an interactive visual showing like for the title. So I'll just go to the new measure. So over here what I'll do is, I'll just click here new measure. The formula bar will appear. So the name here, what I'll do is, I'll just change the name to title. And then in the title, what I want to do is, I just want to show the sales of overall products. Sales of overall products in, and I want to create a selected value. Selected value basically is a DAX measure that shows that whatever selection we can make based on a slicer. So basically it will either return the value based on what we selected, or it can also show us the alternate result. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to choose here the region and Malaysia. And then after that, I'm going to just press enter. So once I press enter, what happened is, basically we have a title measure over here. So I can just click a card and I can just tick title over here. So basically it will show sales of overall product in Malaysia. So when I click other state, it shows us other states. Or when I click on just say Sabah, it will show us Sabah and so on. So this is how we can actually play around. And if just say I just unselect this, it will show us the overall performance. So right now what I'm going to do is, since we have a title over here, I just want to change the cosmetic. So under multi-card, I want to change the background. So I go to background and I just put a simple blue color. And yeah, it changes the background. But I want to change not only for the card, but also for these cards over here. And under background, I just change the color, blue color. So here we have blue. But if we want to remove the line, we off the border. And then what we do is, we go to call out, and then the value over here, we just put it here, middle align. So middle align. But what if just say we want to off the label? Well, you can actually off the label over here, and yeah, there you go. So this is how we can actually play around. So I'm going to put it over here. Okay, so we have this data. So this is the sales of overall products in Malaysia. And yeah, we can actually play around by clicking the states. It changes accordingly. But if just say you want to create an interactive title, also can. So over here we have go to general. Under the title, we can also create an interactive title, meaning to say based on the, just say you can just choose any field you want. So what I'm going to do is, I just want to make an interactive title. Let me just cancel this. So I'll go to new measure again. So here we have the name like total sales from January to December financial year 2025. So what I'm going to do is, I put here the chart title. So sales, or maybe overall sales performance, overall sales performance from January to December financial year 2025 in, and then I put here the N selected value. So one is based on region, others will be based on the word Malaysia. There you go. So now what happened is, I'll just click there and I want to choose a value. Based on what value? Based on a value called the chart title. And I press OK. So what happened is, it will show me overall performance, sales performance from January in Malaysia. So just say when I click here Johor, it will actually change to the word Johor and Johor. When just say I click here Sabah, it will change to the word here Sabah and Sabah. That's how it works. So now I also want to teach another DAX measure using calculate. So what you do is, you click here new measure. So here what I'll do is, I'll just write here, okay, basically what happened is, I want to actually show the performance by products. So I can just click the card and I'll just click the RM over here. So like we have like overall 3 million, but we also have other products, not only just like Mac. We also have like Mac, others, iPhone. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to show, okay, one for the overall, another based by product basis. So I click here new measure and I'll write here Mac. Okay. And what I want to do is, I want to calculate. I want to calculate the total. So sum RM. So dia akan cari jumlah sales. So it will find the total RM. So I'll filter what? I'll just put here filter. Filter using, okay, base. Okay, filter, we have a table. Here the table is part 1. And then based on what? Based on the products. So I'll just write here products. So product is equals to what? Product is equals to the word Mac. Apostrophe Mac. Close bracket. Okay, and then enter. So right now, when just say I think here Mac, we get to know that the Mac is about 0.1 million. So now what I'll do is, I'll just copy this formula and I click new measure one more time. And here I'll just write here, not based on Mac. I'll copy and paste the formula. So here is iPhone. And over here, so I change to iPhone. And then what I'll do is, I'll just stick it over here. So here we have iPhone. And if just say I unselect all, so we can roughly know, okay, the total sales is about 37 million. 13 plus 12 is about 25 million. So that means we have a remaining portion for the other product. So what I'll do is, I'll just go to new measure. And then I'll paste the formula. So this one here, I'll write here others. So you might be wondering how I get the others, because under the region, under the products, sorry, we do have like 3 different products: MacBook, Mac, iPhone, and others. So I'll just rename as others and press enter. So right now, when just say in this particular visual, I just tick over here, we have others. So 12 plus 12 is 24, 24, 13 is 37, and overall 37. And I can just put it over here. So here is Mac, iPhones, others, and here I'll put here overall. Okay, so now we have this. What I want to do is, I want to change the coloring. So I'll just go to this multi-cut over here. So you can just put a simple coloring, up to you. So maybe I'll just choose this as normal blue color. Okay, and here I want to change to a different color. So I go to cuts, I go to the background, and I'll choose this as dark blue. Okay, I want the font color as white color. So call out, and I put here, this value I put as white color. There you go. And I want to put middle align, so it's located at the middle. The same thing for label also. I want to put as white color, and I want it to be at the top. So the position is, instead of bottom, put it at the top. So this is how it looks like. And if just say I don't want the short form, I want to show the whole number. So what I'll do is, I can actually go here discard, because you need to select one by one. So I click here Mac. So the Mac, I want to put it as none. And then after that, for just say iPhone, instead of auto display units, I want to put it as none. Okay, these display units normally will not appear if just say you choose all. Meaning if just say you choose all, it will not appear. So you need to actually select, okay, what card? Maybe I want others. Once you select the others, then after that you can actually go to the display unit and you can just put here none. And the same thing also you can try when you just show overall, and yep, you can just put it over here and you put here none. Okay, so now we have this data. So now normally in accounting, or when you see in audit working paper, they will have like a comma, like 1,000 separator. So when I click this RM over here, what happen is I can just click on this comma, so automatically it will appear. But the problem is I'm selecting one and I'm doing one by one. So actually I cannot multi-select this. What I can actually do is, if you notice over here, I can't multi-select. Even I press Ctrl or Shift. So I'll go to the model view. Under model view, since we have like iPhone, Mac, others, I select all these using the Shift button. So go down under the property pane, 1,000 separator, press yes. And then what happen is, so you'll see all this. So here is Mac, this, and so on. So when I click Johor, it will show me the performance and Johor and so on. So we can get to know, okay, this is the data, this is the reporting and how it looks like. So when I just click on Sarawak, so it will show me the performance of Sarawak, and just say clear. This is how it looks like. So what we learned from here is basically this is a simple a Power BI dashboard that also includes the calculate function, selected value function, whereby we can create an interactive title both on the main title and also the chart title, and we also can show the subgroup using the calculate sum function where we filter according to the respective particular product.